You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know. When we say they, we mean the credit bureaus, the big banks, the government, and the media, and anyone else who's trying to stick their grubby hands into your hard-earned pocketbook. Today we're going to be talking about debt settlement, a.k.a. the financial devil, credit score crusher, or the worst financial move anyone could ever make in their entire life. We're also going to be talking about debt relief strategies, including bankruptcy, go through all the credit news. But first, in studio, as always, this is Bankruptcy Wednesday, William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. William, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Credit.
It's always good to have you in the studio. And, you know, we talk about debt settlement quite a bit lately because, believe it or not, folks, every commercial you hear out there that says, hey, we can get you out of debt if you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, if you want to reduce your debts, all these things that you're hearing about debt on the air or on TV, it's all about debt settlement, which is a program, okay? And they disguise it and they try to hogwash people into getting signed up for it. And we had a listener contact William, and we're actually able to get a hold of one of these contracts, which...
Wow, that is brutal.
It's bad, trust me. And we're going to go through some of the finer things. William, I want you to point out a couple of things that stick out to you. Now, this is a client who had about, what, $50,000 in debt?
Right, about $55,000 of debt that he was looking to consolidate or do debt settlement to settle the debt, to pay, hoping to get about 50 cents on the dollar.
Mm-hmm. So he was thinking, you know, he probably heard a commercial that said, hey, if you have credit card debt, we can help you get out of it for cheaper than what you owe. And he thought, okay, let me give a call, see what it's all about. They get, you know, they got a fish on the hook. They bring him into the boat, and what did they show him when they finally got him in front of him?
So what he brought in, he heard our show, and he was worried about the debt settlement after our discussion on the radio. And when he came in, he was thinking about possibly doing Chapter 7. So I have the contract from it, which will remain an unnamed debt settlement company, and I was just flabbergasted by some of the terms. They're just so consumer unfriendly, and basically the contract shows that the debt settlement company is going to be number one throughout the entire relationship. And
let's look at it from a side-by-side perspective. So in this case, this individual has $55,000 in debt. Here's the debt settlement commercial, or get out of debt commercial, calls them, and they tell him it's going to cost him how much, and how much is he going to save? I mean, how do the numbers break down for this particular client? Because this is a pretty average scenario. I think
very typical.
You know, a lot of people will have about $50,000 or so in credit card debt, and $50,000, $60,000. So, you know, how do the numbers actually break down for him? What is the situation? What are they offering?
So the way it's set up is they list the different credit cards that this particular person had, and they start off, the estimated settlement is 50%. So that is just everyone out there, so you know, anybody could, if you stop making your credit card bills, you could settle for 50 cents. I mean, that's like that's the bare minimum. I mean, usually you're shooting for, 30 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar. 50 cents is pretty easy.
50
easy
cents
to
means
accomplish.
they do no work. That means that basically,
Exactly.
they'll get letters. You'll get letters from the creditors. You stop paying your credit cards before they get charged off. Remember, when they get charged off, the bank is actually saying, we don't think this person's ever going to pay us, so we're going to write this down as a write-off on our taxes. And that's when something gets charged off. It becomes a Class 9 item, goes to collections. Okay, Class 9 item on your credit report is the worst class that exists. Foreclosures, 8. Okay, and so it becomes a Class 9 item. Hurts you, it immediately is going to bring your credit score down 75 to 100 points for the first collection that you get on your report.
And you get a 1099 on that. So in other words, when they take the debt, when they charge off the debt on their books, you're going to pick that up as a 1099 on your income. So in that tax year where that debt was settled, you're going to, at the end of the year, you're going to get a 1099, and it's going to show, let's say in this guy's case, $25,000 was written off. You're going to have $25,000 of ordinary income that you're going to have to recognize on your taxes.
Meaning that if they save you $30,000, then the government is going to assume that they're going to treat that like you made $30,000.
That's exactly right.
Even though those principles mathematically are not parallel by any means. Remember, the government is going to get theirs.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Well, they're going to come after you if you save money, because there's one thing we know for sure: the government's not missing out. They're going to get their piece. Okay, so if it's the case that the sales income, as it's treated from the creditor's standpoint, does not come in, then they're going to take it out on you. Someone's going to pay the taxes. So this individual, $55,000 in debt, they're saying a 50% settlement, which means he's approximately going to pay, let's say, $27,500.
Right.
So he's going to have to pay $27,500. He's going to save $27,500. How much is the debt settlement company looking to charge him?
So what I immediately went to in this contract are the fees, which are, it's just mind-boggling. So when they get you and they set you up for just initial setup fee of $199. So just to get you in the door before they do anything, probably before they sign this contract, you're paying $200. And subsequently after that, you will pay over the next 12 months, you will pay $9,157. And by the way, the monthly payment that this customer was going to make every month was $840 per month. So how they're going to do this is they're going to have you pay $840 a month. It's going to go into a savings account, and then they're going to try to get up about $25,000 saved up over the next couple years. So immediately the first $9,157 that is saved up for the first year goes directly to the debt settlement company. So not $1 for the first year is going to be paid to any of your creditors or to that savings account that's supposed to be built up so they can negotiate to settle your debts.
Wow. Okay, so the long-term goal here in this debt settlement program is to save you $27,500, which you're also going to have to take that $27,500 as income. If you're in, let's say, a 25% income tax bracket, then you're going to owe $5,000 or $6,000 in taxes. Okay, you're going to owe the IRS $5,000 or $6,000. Well, that cuts out $6,000, let's say, off the $27,500 that you're saving. So now you're down to $21,000. Now you have to pay them $9,000 and change. So now you're actually down to only saving $12,000. And keep in mind, you're only saving $12,000. You're destroying your credit. A year later, you've gone absolutely nowhere. 1 year into the program, all you've done is pay their fee. That's it, and destroy your credit.
And how do you think the creditors are going to take this? They're not going to receive any payments for a full year, so they're referring this to their law firm.
Exactly. Tell us what. Now that's the big risk here. Now, when I say that debt settlement is a lose, 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 okay, there is nothing good about it. Absolutely nothing. So for me to hear the commercials every single day on the radio, to see them on TV, telling people you got to avoid bankruptcy, that's the last thing you want to do. Call us first. Let's settle your debts. You're ruining yourself when you sign up for these programs. If you're in one, don't feel bad about it. You didn't know. You didn't know until you heard today. Listen, Chapter 7 bankruptcy is an incredible financial tool. It's better on every single front than these debt settlement programs is. Every single front. We'll get to that more later in the show, but for now, I want you to know Chapter 7 bankruptcy is quicker, it's cheaper, it's so much better for your credit. Your credit score is going to go higher. Almost every single time. You can get a free consultation with William, who's in studio today. He works with every client directly. 858-437-0103. You sit down with him. If you've got a debt settlement proposal in front of you or you're considering it, you've got to become educated about how bankruptcy works first. It's better in every possible aspect, and there's nothing worse than debt settlement. I can honestly tell you this because I've sat down and tried to figure it out. I've tried to figure out if there's a situation where it actually makes sense for someone to do this, and there isn't. Call William today, 858-437-0103, 858-437-0103 for your free consultation with William McDonald. So a year into it, credit's destroyed. We paid $9,000 to this company. We stopped paying our credit card bills, which means our credit is screwed. Now, what about the consequences of not paying those creditors? Can't I now actually get sued? Have my wages garnished for these payments?
Absolutely. There's nothing that the debt settlement company can do to protect you from being sued. And in fact, most of these companies, they're not law firms, so there's no way that they can, if you do get sued, they cannot file an answer for you. So then you're going to have to incur the expense of you're going to have to go get an attorney and incur additional expenses just to stop the lawsuit. And not only that, mentioning the fees, so you pay that $9,500 we were just speaking of, your fees aren't done. The debt settlement company is still going to get $75 per month until the debt is settled. So even when you pay that ridiculous lump sum payment over the first 12 months, you're still going to be incurring fees every month for them doing really nothing.
Wow.